Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. This time out we have preview pages for Avatar The Last Airbender Imbalance Part 2. These are very early preview pages. Imbalance Part 2 is not out until May, middle of May, and we have these pages now in the middle of February, so 3 months early. It's not the earliest we've ever had preview pages, in that obviously Ruins of the Empire we've had preview pages basically since the book was announced. So they're far and away, I think, the earliest preview pages that we have. But as just a normal book that seems to be having a pretty solid schedule, this is very, very early. So it gives us an idea that they're very on track with the release schedules for this book, and, you know, that's pretty good. As for where these came from, these ones came from Edelweiss, which is above the tree line. Yeah, I think you have to log in to actually even view their stuff. The site didn't used to be like that in the past, because I think you have to go all the way back to like the Promise or the Search to go back to the last time we got preview pages from Edelweiss. So, you know, the pages here are here on screen. I'll link in the description, but I don't know if you can look at them without actually having an account. But either way, let's get into this. So we have 8 preview pages here, and it seems like basically they are pretty much the first pages of the book. There is no page numbers on these, yeah, but it really looks like it's the first pages of the book because of where part 1 ended. So Aang is obviously returning after, you know, I suppose there could be like a page or two where like it is Aang just finishing up with the firebender guy, but either way, he arrives back and basically informs them what happened. Toph asks, you know, tell me you caught the guy who exploded my dad's factory. And Aang reveals he literally caught him because he fell off a cliff. So Aang had to rescue him, and because he saved his life, he gave up who attacked him. And Toph is very angry here. She's getting personally invested in this because, of course, her father's factory was attacked. So she's now, I suppose, finally invested in something here. Because back in part 1, Toph really wasn't that big of a factor. She did a few little bits and pieces, but in terms of her directly being like attached to the plot, there wasn't that big of a sense beyond just the obvious. They're returning to the place where her father's factory is, so she's obviously somewhat important. Now it seems like she's invested in getting into like the conflict that's going on here. Whereas back in part 1, she obviously was just like, cool, machines, like, I don't care that benders have lost their jobs. And she seemed a little bit uncaring about all of that. Now she's going to have to, I suppose, get involved in that and potentially choose a side. Because, of course, we know from the Part 3 description of Imbalance that we're ultimately leading to Toph and Katara from opposite sides kind of urging Aang to make a decision one way or the other. So we have to see where, you know, Toph forming a big opinion that Aang may or may not agree with, and Katara doing the same, where that actually comes from. And that's probably something that Part 2 is going to have to do most of the setup on. So Toph moving into sort of the forefront here in these preview pages is definitely something that needed to happen. So the important thing here, very important for these preview pages, Aang reveals to everyone the firebender said he was hired by 2 teenage girls, one of whom was a skilled earthbender. Interestingly, Toph says, my people should know better than that. Why would they have a grudge? Just the fact that she calls earthbenders her people, I think is quite interesting. Katara wants to know what's the reason behind the attack, but that's all the firebender said to him, just that it was 2 teenage girls. Lau, interestingly, reveals, my factory wasn't the only one targeted last night. Several other businesses were sabotaged as well. This seems to be more than random violence, it feels coordinated. So this prompts Detective Sokka to arrive on the scene. There's something strange going on in Cranefish Town, something lurking beneath the surface, like a cat gator waiting to leap out and claim its prey. He puts the hat on, Avatar Day reference, time for Team Avatar Investigations to delve into these mysterious goings-on. So yeah, then we cut to the next page, and Katara, of course, has the reaction you'd probably expect from her. Can't believe you still have the hat. And him saying, I can't believe you ever thought I'd get rid of this amazing hat. Do you know me at all? Aang just reveals here that he's going to go basically investigate the other factories that were attacked and see what the connection really is. And Katara then shows a bit of more seriousness here, that she did sort of latch onto something that Sokka said. There's something going on beneath the surface of Cranefish Town, but we haven't seen it yet. And you can see from the way this page goes, she looks back on the damage that's just occurred and seems very, very concerned about what's going on here. So they don't directly set up, I suppose, what Katara is exactly feeling right now, but we're going to obviously have to get there because of the whole Toph-Katara conflict that seems to be coming into play. Now, obviously, we know with Katara, one of the main things that usually drives her is that she will never turn her back on people who need her. So she wants just, I suppose, everyone to be safe and happy. So she's going to do, I suppose, whatever she feels is best for the most people possible. So that potentially might mean that Toph might be making a decision that maybe sides one way or the other, whereas Katara maybe just wants, Aang to be like even with everyone. Again, we have to wait and see what's going on here, but they are setting something up in terms of a concern with Katara. So Aang brings Momo with him, which is a kind of a little important setup moment here for the next page. And then we do cut to that. So he goes to Li Ling's, I suppose, house, because she's a factory owner as well. And obviously they're basically implying here that her factory is potentially damaged as well. Now, obviously, us as the readers pretty much know that's probably a way to deflect the blame away from her, because why would she attack her own factory? But, again, he's given them information that the firebender was hired by 2 teenage girls, and what happens on this page? 2 teenage girls walk in. So Momo breaks something. Aang offers to fix it with earthbending, assuming they have the drawing of the original. But she says, no, don't worry, my daughter can repair it. She's a very talented earthbender, and she calls both of them in. And Toph seems a bit shocked by this, because of course this is in fact what she's just heard. It connects entirely to what Aang just said. She's immediately suspicious of them. 2 teenage girls, one's an earthbender. She's just been told that. And obviously Li Ling introduces her daughters, Yaling and Ru. We met them in part 1. But immediately Yaling gets up, Ru puts some water on the remains of the statue, and she just earthbends it back into shape very, very nicely. That's, I suppose, very good skill. The fact that Aang praises her, I suppose, is proof that this isn't just, good earthbending, it is very good earthbending. Toph obviously is unimpressed because she's Toph, and realistically Bumi and, I suppose potentially Kyoshi are the only earthbenders kind of on her level, in her opinion. And there's a little bit of a conflict here. You think you're a better earthbender than me? Nah, I know I'm better. As she grabs the piece of meteorite, that's another kind of statue type thing that they have there, and she's ready to show off. So this is impressive, of course, because immediately Yaling is shocked that Toph can metal bend. This is obviously her first time seeing metal bending up close, and metal bending this good as well. We know meteorites are very easy to manipulate for earthbenders, so she can just do whatever she wants with it. And the fact that she makes a statue just as detailed as, I suppose, the one that Yaling just made, but out of metal, is this just amazing demonstration of the kind of gulf in class, because they've both done something that's basically detailed work, but the material that they've used shows, I suppose, the difference in kind of difficulty and technique. So Katara asks Ru, are you an earthbender? She says, I'm not any kind of bender. But Ru has other talents. Now, from part 1, we could assume that what that means is that, okay, she's sort of the talker of the group. She's good at manipulating people. She's good at sort of being the leader of the two, whereas Yaling is more the muscle. That's something we definitely saw in part 1. That seemed to be the dynamic between the two sisters. Now, are they hinting that there's something more than that going on here? That's where I'm not entirely sure. Are they just hinting that, she kind of has this manipulative side to her that she's able to keep under wraps, or is there something more? Sokka does poke his head in to say that no, like me, there's no way Katara can waterbend a boomerang. That requires pure non-bender skill. And then here's where we start to see Toph, I suppose, showing her first hint of, I suppose, potentially becoming, a candidate for chief of police. She's starting to investigate here on her own. So of course Yaling is very impressed with the control over the metal, and she starts to brag here a bit. It's pretty cool, that's why I invented it. And she just casually inserts into the conversation, hey, you know what else is cool? I went up to that cliff the other day. What's it called? Lady Tianhai's cliff? You ever been up there? And Again, really casually, Ya Ling just replies, "Me? Nah, never been up there. Make it change shape again." So she very quickly answers the question and moves on. And she's just like, "Sure, happy to," as she turns it back into the original shape. So the question here, this is where the preview ends. Has Toph sensed that Ya Ling lied here? We know she has that ability through seismic sense to sense if someone lies, and only people like an Azula, who are very good at manipulating and I suppose controlling their emotions most of the time, can actually hide that from her. Because Rue seems to be the one who is the kind of intelligent manipulator of the group, I get the impression that probably Toph has seen through Ya Ling here. And the question is going to be, does this reveal just come out here? Is Li Ling revealed as the villain to everyone right now? Or does Toph play it cool, go out, tell her friends what she's just discovered, and then they plan how to actually handle this? Because obviously they sort of know there's something more going on than just 3 people. That's why so many factories could be attacked on the same night. It would sort of make sense to just be like, okay, we know who we're on to. Let's follow them. Let's see what their full plan is, the full scale of the operation. Maybe that's the plan, the route that they're going to go down. And that's a way for Toph to sort of step up as a sort of potential chief of police in the future. I'm not really sure where exactly they're going to go, but I think they could go either way. Like, if they reveal it now, it gives them a lot of time to just address motivations and stuff like that. If they wait a bit, it allows for some really cool kind of staking out stuff in that, I suppose, Detective Sokka, that's them going to other factories. It seems like they're setting up that, like, we're going on more investigation than just this handful of pages. So I don't think there's too much else to say beyond that. Like, I'm happy that Toph is sort of coming a little bit more into the spotlight. I am a little worried still, though, with Sokka, and like obviously we're waiting for Suki to arrive, that they feel like once again they're potentially not going to be a focus here. In the book that's dealing with the Bender-non-Bender conflict, the 2 non-Bender key characters are not really playing as big of a role as you'd expect, and it more seems like Aang, Toph, and Katara are going to play the main roles, not the non-Benders. So that's something they're going to have to, I suppose, really, I suppose, convince us on, because I think most fans would prefer Sokka and Suki be a bit more involved in this conflict than they are right now. But overall, I think the art on these preview pages is very, very good. I think they're building to something here. Part 2, of course, is going to have to be the important middle part for Imbalance. It's going to have to really build us towards the big events that are going on here. Because I felt like Imbalance Part 1, like, while it was good, it definitely didn't fully get us into exactly where the story is heading. So this is what this has to do. And I think the Toph and the little bit of focus on Katara seems to be leading us down that road. As ever, I think the character writing continues to be very good. The references, everyone feels in character. It's just about, I suppose, having the important plot and character moments matter and feel important. That's where Imbalance Part 2 and 3 need to deliver. But that's my thoughts on these preview pages. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on these preview pages. The book's not out for another 3 months, so we have a long time to speculate on it. But yeah, definitely give me your thoughts in the comments and we can discuss it. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.